Hey, I'm your host, Ben Foskey. I want to tell you a little bit about what's going to be happening in the Confident Communicator Challenge. So excited to have you with us here. And why am I so passionate about this? Well, this is one of the areas I've been working on probably most in the last 15 years of my life, is really helping people tell their story in a compelling way. Because as most of you know, public speaking is the number one fear that people have. So if I can help them overcome that fear, then they're well on their way to becoming confident leaders. And this is the process that basically when you get clear on your communication, when you're able to communicate something with confidence, it is amazing to me what changes in your life. And I want to just give you a couple of stories of people that I've worked with on this very thing. One person, when she was growing up, she wasn't appreciated by others. There were key people in her life that didn't find value in her, that wished she was better than she was, and they let her know. And so her challenge was, I feel like I'm gifted. I feel like I'm significant. I feel like I have something important to say, but I'm getting from these really important people in my life telling me I'm not. And so here's my challenge. Who is true? Who's telling the truth? Is this feeling that I have worth and I add value, is that true? Or are these negative voices coming from other people? Is that the truth? And she had a choice to make. Was she going to allow those negative voices to win? Or was she going to create her own narrative in her story? And luckily, she chose option two. And because of that, she made a choice to say, you know what? I'm going to get really good at learning how to value and appreciate myself. And when I do that, my sneaking suspicion is I'm going to get really good at helping to value and appreciate others. And in fact, that is what she did. And she now coaches people for a living doing this. Another person I worked with, he had an opportunity. He was talking with his boss's boss, and his boss's boss heard some of the ideas that he had, and he had really important things to say. And his boss asked him to share the next morning, and he couldn't do it. He was afraid. He didn't want to. So he said no. So he had his boss do it. So now when he tells his story, he says, you know what? I had a moment in time where I could have risen to the occasion. I could have seized the opportunity, and I could have been viewed by the entire group as someone who's important and strategic and innovative. And instead of that moment, I was looked at someone that couldn't deliver in the big moments and wasn't to be trusted and maybe had some confidence issues. And I don't know what their potential will be. And he said, I had a challenge. I had a dilemma. This happened. Was I going to let this moment define me? Was I going to let this lack of courage define me for the rest of my life? Or was I going to find a way to overcome this confidence challenge and to learn how to be prepared in the future for opportunities just like this? Luckily, he chose option two. He could have easily chose to numb out and work for the weekend and give up on his career, but he didn't. He said, you know what? I'm going to work on this and I'm going to get better at this. And the next time this opportunity comes, I will be ready. And he did exactly that. And multiple small opportunities after that kept building up, and eventually they were larger opportunities and eventually larger opportunities. And now he's one of the most significant leaders in the entire organization. And now he's viewed as someone who consistently steps up time after time after time in really big ways and really big decisions, and can be trusted with the organization's biggest clients and biggest challenges. And now he teaches all of the leaders on his team to do the same. And all of this happened, all of their work happened in understanding their confidence story. And it fits within the context of the overall confident leader blueprint. And I'm not going to get into all these details, but there are many areas that drive our leadership. Leadership self-confidence, there's lots of spokes to that, but it starts with confident communication. And we use what's called the confident story code. And when we do that, the confident story code, we define the challenge, we understand clearly what the choices all are, and then we look at the call to act. So if we look at both of these examples, both of them had clear challenges. First example I gave, she had the challenge of deciding, am I worth it? Am I valuable? Am I interesting? Do I have something to contribute? Or do I have to listen to these other voices? The second example I shared, he said, okay, so I didn't step up last time. Does that mean I will never step up? Does that mean I'm forever going to be branded as someone who can't deliver? Both had really clear challenges. And when they communicate these challenges to audiences, instead of being boring, instead of saying, hi, I'm in business development and I'm in international sales and this is what I do, or I'm an executive coach, and boring. Instead, now when they get asked what they do, they can tell a story. Or when they get put on the spot about something, hey, what do you think about, do you think you could be the keynote for our next presentation? Say, well, historically being keynote, that's been a challenge for me. Sometimes I've said no in the past, but not anymore. Not anymore. I don't avoid it anymore. So if you're asking me if you think I'm up for this, yeah, I've spent the last many years of my career preparing to be ready for opportunities just like this. And I can tell you that the last 7 or 8 sessions I did really, I think, had the impact that you're hoping to have in this event for you. And so the way he can now tell a story, the same with her, it's like, hey, do you think you could handle this coaching project? You'll say, you know what? Sounds like this person struggles feeling valued, feeling appreciated. I get it early in my life. That's exactly where I was. I had significant people tell me that I wasn't worth it, that I wasn't enough. And I listened to them and I believed them for a while, but not anymore. Now I understand that every single person, every single human being has value and is important. And I've spent my career helping people see that. So if you're asking me if I can help this person, yeah, I can. I believe I can. And if we start working together, just know that I will empathize and understand their journey. Because when we tell our confidence story, we let the audience know that we're just like them, that we're the same. So imagine having your own confidence story. Imagine coming through the workshop and you're going to create your own confidence story. And if you're part of the VIP experience, I will personally help you craft your story just like I helped these 2 leaders craft theirs. And imagine what's on the other side of that. Instead of being afraid of those opportunities, you've got the language and the clarity to seize the opportunities that are there. And imagine what could happen to in your career. Imagine what could happen in the lives of those that you lead. Imagine instead of telling boring, sort of run-of-the-mill answers, you've got an intriguing story, your confidence story that you can share, and it can fit different venues. It might be 3 minutes that you have to share it, or it might be 30 minutes, or it might be 3 hours. Do you see how those stories could be woven into keynotes? Lessons learned. And more importantly, it's a way to break the ice. It's a way to end those uncomfortable and awkward silences when you're trying to figure out what to say about yourself when someone says, well, tell me a little bit about yourself, the dreaded question. Well, now you can say, well, early in my career, I had some challenges. This was the primary challenge I faced. This was the choice I had. This is what I decided to do. And now that's made all the difference. And now I help people do the same. And I'd love to help you if that makes sense. It leads into business development. It leads into sales if you want it to. It leads into leading and inspiring your team with a story instead of, well, here's the projects for today. It just is such a more interesting story. And if we get it right, here's some of the outcomes that you'll have through this challenge. You'll reduce that inner critic, that negative self-talk. You'll increase your leadership confidence. You'll be prepared to communicate and coach others with clarity and influence the room the way you've always wanted to. And you'll do it naturally because it's your story. It's not my story. I'm just going to help pull it out of you. I'm going to help you craft it in a way that's brilliant, that you can use for social media, that you can use on your LinkedIn profile, that you can use to tell the world what you're really about in a genuine, authentic way that lets them know you've been through what they're going through and you can help them succeed. Because that's all of us. We're either finding, leading, or coaching confidence. We're either finding it for ourselves, we're either leading it and telling the person next to us, hey, I've been there and I can help you because I've been there, or we're coaching it. And we're saying, hey, you know what? Here's what you're capable of. Now I'm passing the baton to you to start telling your story to our clients, to our board members, to our teammates. And I believe if you do that, the amount of stress and anxiety and negative self-talk and the weekend being triggered or bothered, that will melt away. We're not going to eliminate all of it. Obviously, you're dealing with challenges every day. However, you'll now have a framework to handle the challenges and to feed it back almost immediately with a sense of confidence and courage. So thank you so much for joining us for the Confident Communicator Challenge. Go to confidentcommunicatorchallenge.com and sign up today, and we'll share all the relevant information. But to me, thank you for choosing to invest in yourself. And thank you for choosing to build. Thank you for letting me help you build your story of genius. Because once you have it, it's amazing how many applications you'll have, from dealing with conflict to dealing with opportunities. All of those situations will now be opportunities that you can take and take your career to the next level. So can't wait to see you there. Thanks.